talents is like you have a responsibility
Yes.
in this life to
You do.
share those talents.
Yes. Or they're taken away.
And those talents can be, I think people think of like a talent is like singing or no, like there's talents can be like what you might think are very ordinary things like smiling or just different things. And that's also when you talk about serving, service, yes, there's big service like a mission, or there's big service like I'm going to go work at the homeless shelter. There are so many ways. Opening a door for someone is service.
But you showing up today for me was service.
Yeah.
Like this was my joyful moment of this is my reward for my hard week of work is you're serving me by caring and showing up with my book and cheering me up so much in the midst of my work week.
So, I mean, I think that's the thing for everyone should remember is like service shows up in so many different ways. It's saying yes to people. And I know we both like, at the end of the day, like the more we talk today, I realize like how much we share in common. But like at the end of the day, it's all about people. Like that's what it comes down to.
You're gonna laugh when you read about I give singing as the example too of like the talent that I wanted as a little girl and didn't think I had any special gifts because I couldn't sing. And then it took me years and time of realizing, oh, that's just one gift. But my gifts aren't outward gifts like that. They're gifts that you have to, the gift of cheerfulness, things that you don't really as a kid want. Like, no, I wanted to be a singer. I want to be a rock star. Come on.
So let's talk about joy.
Okay. Oh,
because
I
joy
could
is
do
like
it all day long. Let's do it.
Thing. Like I've said, like I've now for probably 15 years have said my purpose in life is to celebrate humanity, spread joy, and bring stories to life. Joy is like all. And I was like flipping through this book last night, right? And I came across Together We'll Create a World of Joy. And I'm like, this is the page that I want you to sign. Right? Like everybody signs that inside cover. I'm like, no, I want you to sign this. So I haven't read the book yet, but Together We'll Create a World of Joy. I like that makes me want to just cry. Like, can you talk to me about
Makes us want to dance, have a dance party.
Yeah. And it's together. Like we're all in it.
Yeah.
But like, what does joy mean to you?
Oh, it's everything. It's so many things. Like I said, it's the work, it's the play, it's the relationships. It's just, I think we can find joy in the pain and the hardship and the suffering, because I believe those hard moments are given to us as gifts to develop us and to give us gifts of joy that will come through it, because we can't, we have to experience the opposition in all things to even appreciate, sitting in this cabin. This was, we built this years ago. So 18 years ago when we built it, probably when we were too young and foolish to even try and didn't even really have enough money to do it. But we did creatively do it and put a ton of work into it. And so it's a place of extreme work, and even family members and friends, anyone who was close to me at the time, like really also labored and put a lot of work into it. It was a labor of love. And then it's been continued to be a labor of love over the years. But it brings us so much joy, right? And so it's always in those oppositions. I'll sit here with like my sisters, one in particular that lived on the East Coast when I built it. So she would bring her family. She lived in Virginia, Becky, and she would come down with her family on their vacations and put her kids to work. And so we'd all just kind of have these, for the year that we were building it, these family work vacations. And we'd give kids a paintbrush and say, okay, stain that wall and you do this and you do that. And we all just collectively worked together. And she had young kids and I had young kids, and we were teaching them the value of work. So we were kind of happy to do it, like happy to have a project to come together that we knew would bring us so much joy in the end. And we've had family reunions here and so many fun things, but we sit here, and even their kids sit and they look at the wall. I stained that door. I stained that post. I remember refinishing that floor. I remember tiling that whatever. And it's just that pride in the work that we do is so joyful. So again, yes, I love to go on vacations and I love to sit poolside and relax and those types of things, which I think intuitive or just the knee-jerk thought is that some of that is all the joyful stuff. But I love to sit and cry with a friend
Yeah.
over their problems, you know,
Yeah.
and deeply connect.
Yeah.
And I love to, again, work. And so it just comes in all ways. I think the miracle happens when you start to recognize it. And as a practice, learn to recognize
Yeah.
it and start to see yourself not as life is happening to me, but life is happening for me. And when you believe that and understand that all things come together for your good, then the friendships can work for your good, the trials can work for your good, everything can be an experience that you can harvest, because everything that's happening is what is. So the key is you don't resist. You get more in the flow. And just look at what is and harvest the joy.
Trust the unfolding.
And you just have to get good at harvesting the joy, because you can learn the lessons and let go of what you can't change, and then harvest the joy and the good that comes from it, the lessons.
I once heard the quote, happiness is fleeting, joy is sustaining. And I love that. And I think joy is sustaining is like that whole, like, even in the hard places, like joy sustains you. Like
it's a deeper, more rooted word of what means happiness. But
okay, so we started off that you asked me, like, kind of what's the last decade look like, and I love that this is just a real conversation, because like we're
all over the place.
Like,
it's good.
What's your life like look like in the last 10 years? Like, we both, for one thing, have raised kids from little kids to big adults, like real people. What's your journey been like over the last 10 years?
Oh boy, it has been a journey, right? Life is just a big journey, and it's been one filled with ups and downs. I think, like everybody, you know, no one's free of trials and hardships that come, you know, whether that's been illness that we've had in different parts of the family, and surprise things, surprise illnesses. In fact, we were on the road doing an RV trip, and then my daughter Sophie kept getting sick, and I don't know, I'm kind of a little bit of a hard mom in the sense of like, brush it off, you're fine. Like, it'll, like, I don't, you know, I'm not an alarmist. But after several episodes, finally, she's like, Mom, you've got to take me to the hospital. Like, there's something wrong with me, you crazy mom, you know. No, I wasn't crazy. But I did take her to the hospital, because obviously it became acute, and she had a tumor, and we had to deal with that, and we had to stop our RV trip, you know. And she's fine. It was all fine, a couple surgeries and fine, but a disruption to our plan, you know. So I think those things, you know, whether it was that or a myriad, I mean, several kids have had surgeries, but just the thick of it, of raising kids, and then the move, and then business ventures of, we've had some be successful and some completely crash. And so one thing that a thought that sticks in my mind regarding that and finances is, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And I've experienced that in great measure, where we've had things, and then we've lost things, and then I've gotten to see there's a lot of sorrow that comes from that, or lack of understanding in the moment. But then when you get to work and build something again, you realize, that money and wealth doesn't truly matter, although it's helpful, but that you can create things again, you know? And that there's a lot of joy that comes from that, and resilience, and just learning who you are when you can.
You have to trust the
when you can lose and then recreate. So I would say to any of you listening, you're probably just like we've been through it, right? One of the reasons I do this podcast is I feel like, okay, I've now earned the right to share. Not that, I mean, you can when you're young too, but I think for years I was in the thick of it, whether that was just putting my heart and soul into business activities, raising kids. I think there was just, you know, I put this whole Pretty Sister concept on hold for many years, almost 20 years. Before bringing it back, because I feel like I have the time now, and I want to help. I want to share some of these lessons. There's so many of them. And I feel like we can help each other. You know, like that quote in there, together we create a world of joy. We really do. And I feel like we are meant to have joy. Like, we're here on this earth, and we are born with this right to have joy. That's part of the purpose of life. And that's why God created so many beautiful things, and, you know, on this earth. I've said this before, but my friend's husband, who loves to travel, and we were traveling with him, and I was like, all right, what's the obsession? And I love to travel too, but he's like on a mission to go see all these things. And I loved what he said. He said, you know what? God went to all this trouble to create all these beautiful places. The least I could do is care enough to try to go see it.
Yeah.
And he knows I'm not going to see everything.
Yeah.
But hey, if he went to all this trouble to create this for my joy, all of our joy, the least I could do is try.
Love it.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to try with you. Let's go see more.
So that makes me think, I'm really curious.